everybody, this is Tim Jordan with Private Label Legion. Welcome to another Oracles of Ecomm video. I am sitting in a hotel in LA because that's what I do. So I run around and meet as many people as I can, learn as much as I can. A lot of times I have to do that in person. And one of the people that I've met, I don't know, in the past couple of years that really impressed me with her ability to understand the big picture, right? Like the macro pieces of this whole Amazon e-commerce thing is Chelsea Cohen. So Chelsea, I'm so glad to have you here. You're about to drop some bombs on us. One of the things that has shaken the Amazon selling world recently is understanding how to manage our inventory. Amazon essentially used to let us in whatever, whenever, as much as we wanted, and they didn't really care. But when the inventory limits started being imposed and we started being restricted with what we could send in for inventory as far as volume or number or quantity or how fast we could send it in, we had to get very strategic about our entire e-commerce game plan on Amazon. And Chelsea is an expert in inventory, and what she understands as a seller herself is that a lot of times our operations people, or even if we're solopreneurs, the way we think about operations and restocking and getting our inventory in is not being considered in the marketing plan. You have to combine all of your strategy between the marketing and the sourcing and the procurement and the logistics, or we screw up. Chelsea's about to share a lot of the ways that maybe mistakes are being made, but also how to fix those. And this should help you in your whole holistic view of selling better by understanding the relationship between your inventory and your marketing and sales strategies. So Chelsea, take it away.
Thanks, Private Label Legion. I am very excited to be here. My name is Chelsea Cohen. I am the co-founder of SoStock.com, and I'm going to talk to you about a concept called inventory-minded marketing. This topic has become more and more important, especially with restock limits. The concept is really to get your inventory and your marketing team to work together. And what are those touch points that need to be in place to really have a seamless running machine so that you're not running out of inventory, you're not stocking out, you're not clogging your FBA with a bunch of inventory that blocks your best sellers. How do you keep all of these balls moving at the same time and make sure that your entire company is moving in the right direction? So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so here are the vital marketing coordination points. First and foremost, marketing has to work with inventory by giving them the marketing plan. A lot of times, marketing tends to forget to let inventory know when they're going to start marketing pretty heavily. This becomes a problem when the marketing efforts are so successful that they stock you out. This is something that has happened. I've seen even 8-figure sellers deal with this. So the marketing plans need to be written up and sent to the inventory team to vet it out to make sure that there is enough inventory to fulfill that particular marketing plan. Let's look at what this would look like. This is what I call the inventory-minded marketing planner. And we can give you access to that. I'm sure there will be a link somewhere around here, and you'll get access to this particular planner. This is what is involved in this planner. You'll do it on a per ASIN basis. So every ASIN needs to have a specific marketing. If you're not doing anything special, then you may not need to include too many details, but you want to cover all of your products in your catalog so the inventory team knows what's coming. First and foremost, the velocity. And this is something that the inventory team can work out with the marketing team. The marketing team may have some insights into this, and it may be something that the inventory team takes on their own. But you would look at your velocity. Is it an average velocity, a 30-day average, 60-day? Maybe it's a combination of some of those. Is it a manual velocity? You're not looking at the data, you're overriding it with a specific number of daily sales. Or are you looking at last year's sales? Is it during Christmas and you want to look at last year's sales? Is that most valuable? Then you're going to go to adding trends and additional sales growth. Sometimes a product is currently ramping up and you want to look at the quarterly trend or the monthly trend or the year-over-year trend. Is there a trend that is being incorporated into this plan? Then are you doing any PPC, right? If you have some products that you plan on marketing, you're turning up the PPC ad spend and you're going to be driving, let's say 10% growth, that would go here too. And of course, lightning deals or other sales events, let's say an email marketing campaign, you put the date range as well as the total number of units you believe you will move during that time. And then you have seasonal sales spikes. That would be a range, let's say summer, and the percentage increase that you can expect from that seasonal sales spike, right? Let's say during the summer, 50% increase. So that is your inventory-minded marketing planner. Now let's go ahead and take a look at those other 4 reports that are vitally important.
Hey, Chelsea, let me pause there for 1 second. If you guys like this video, please hit the subscribe button or hit the thumbs up button so that Chelsea knows you appreciate her sharing all this stuff. All right, interruption over. Keep going.
All right. We're going into talking about the inventory team. Oftentimes, and even in the beginning of conceptualizing inventory-minded marketing, we let go of the idea that the inventory team needed to be proactive. And what has often happened is that the inventory team takes kind of a backseat role. So here are the 4 reports that the inventory team should be sending to the marketing team in order to help the marketing team actually build a great marketing plan that not only thinks about the driving of revenue, but also avoiding stockouts, avoiding overstock, and avoiding especially inventory clogging up your restock limits and preventing your best sellers from being put into the warehouses. First and foremost, we have our Stockout risk report. This is exactly what it sounds like. And a Stockout risk report, it'll indicate the next stockout day, how many days it will have stocked out, and also take a look at kind of the average of how many days each product was out of stock or has historically been out of stock, so that you can kind of identify some of your supply chain issues as well to try to avoid these in the future. So the importance of this report is pretty obviously you don't want to stock out. If you can prevent a stock out, then that would be beneficial. Sometimes you can't prevent a stock out, but the marketing team needs to decide whether they can prevent a stock out without sacrificing rank or not. And sometimes they can simply, by looking at and monitoring the ranking and at the same time kind of backing off of some of the more aggressive, less profitable ad spend, they could potentially avoid a stock out and make more money with each product because you're not advertising aggressively on those final days before the stock out. So that's something to have the marketing team really start planning with, is avoiding stockouts and knowing when there are products that they can't aggressively market until they restock them. To calculate this, you take the total amount of inventory and you divide it by your daily adjusted sales velocity, right? That's essentially your daily velocity factoring out stockouts and sales spikes. And that's going to give you your total remaining days of stock, which will help you to calculate when you're going to potentially stock out on that product. So this is a report that the inventory team should be sending to the marketing team. The next report is the slow sellers report. The slow sellers report indicates which products, they're not exactly loser products, but they're not in the best range. So you want to pick a minimum and a maximum range. It would look something like this. Let's say your minimum sales is 5. Anything under 5 is just a horrible product, but it's doing 5 and you think you can revive it. Between 5 and 20, for example, is our range of slow sellers. We think we can revive these products. So that's what you want to do. I call it the move it or lose it SKUs. These SKUs are ones you need to start more aggressively marketing. Ramp up sales. Essentially, the marketing team takes this report, ramps up sales, and if they don't ramp up sales, they could risk these products moving into the next category of sales or the next category of reports, which is called the liquidation report. Liquidation report is similar to the slow sellers report, but it has that minimum daily velocity, only setting a minimum. So while the slow sellers could be between 5 and 20, let's say anything below 5 ends up on your liquidation report. You say, these are the products that I just need to get rid of. They're going to become a big problem for me. So the marketing team needs to know that these are the SKUs that they really need to do something with. You either need to sell through these products or you need to just remove them from FBA. I don't encourage you just removing them from FBA unless you're trying to handle an emergency where you can't get any inventory in until you take that out. What you should do is devise a plan to move that inventory, let's say a flash sale, dropping your pricing, doing deep coupon discounts, doing lightning deals, deal of the day, anything that you can to move that inventory so that it doesn't become a blocker for other inventory. The other benefit that you have if you're going to move this inventory, if you're going to sell this inventory, is it can boost your restock limits and it can improve your inventory performance index. So using that inventory to help to boost those metrics can be a very powerful tool that you don't want to just give up by removing the inventory from FBA with a removal order, because that does not contribute to your restock limit increases. All right, now we have the last report, and that is the Overstock Report. Now, you may see some products from the Liquidation Report and the Slow Sellers Report on the Overstock Report, but you could also potentially see best sellers here too. This report helps to paint a full picture for the marketing team. It becomes a very, very important tool if your marketing team is trained to know what to do with it. What it does is it isolates excess inventory that's being held at FBA. Let's say you pick a date on what your max stock is. You say anything over 90 days worth of inventory is excess. You could say 60 days if you have a lower restock limit. But between 60 and 90 days is a good balance. You pick what's right for your business. Now, what you want to do is you're taking a look at the Overstock Report. Your marketing team will take a look at this report and they'll see this as either a potential disaster or an opportunity. Inventory is on our books in accounting considered an asset. However, it's kind of like a house in that it can be an asset or a liability. If it costs us more than it's making us, it becomes a liability. But it can be an asset in more ways than one. Usually it's an asset because it makes us more money than it actually cost us. But it can also be an asset in that even if you're losing a little bit of money, if you can use it to boost your restock limits, it becomes an asset. So it moves out of being a liability where it's taking up space, it's incurring a bunch of storage fees, it's tying up your money. All of those things create a liability. But then if you can use that excess inventory to boost your restock limits, increase your sell-through, improve your IPI score, your inventory performance index score, and boost your ranking, your page ranking for some of these products, that becomes an asset. So you can see how inventory can be a liability or it can be an asset. Your Overstock Report is extremely valuable in helping you move it from being a liability into being an asset. When you put your Overstock Report, your Liquidation Report, or your Slow Seller Report together, they provide extremely valuable tools for your marketing team, especially when you have your Slow Sellers Report and your Overstock Report, because you know you have to get those products up into and moved out of your slow sellers into your normal either best sellers or just a substantial product. So if you have a slow seller and you have Overstock, that is a tool to help to move it out of that category. I hope this was valuable to you. I hope that you are excited to try out some of these reports to start implementing them into your business. You can access the template that I discussed at sostock.com/tools under the inventory planner. And I'm sure there will be a link provided. Thank you guys so much, and back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chelsea. We appreciate that. I am pretty good at some things. I'm terrible at a lot of things. And one of those things I'm terrible at is sometimes figuring out how to combine my logistical and inventory strategies with the marketing strategies or marketing teams and figuring out how to do that as smoothly as possible. So appreciate having smart folks like yourself here in the industry that can help fix all of our screw ups and make us all better. Again, like I said a little earlier, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel. And if this is valuable to anybody else that you know, whether it's in a mastermind or a group or community at large, please share this video. This is supposed to be a resource for all of you. We love you for listening. We appreciate you following the channel. We'll see all of you on the next Oracles video.